Hello everyone, and welcome to the Animal Rights Online March 2020. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. I know we've had some inspirational speakers, giving their take on things and talking about many different aspects. So let's put this into perspective, shall we? The year is 2020 and we are still having to explain why animal rights. Well, I'm not going to do that, I'm really not, because basically the onus falls on every single one of us as individuals to stop harming animals. It doesn't get any simpler, it really doesn't. And we all change, we all evolve, and we reach an understanding. Spirituality, veganism, it's one and the same thing really. It's all encompassing. Veganism brings you to a stasis and a stance of compassion, true love, kindness to all kinds, and as self-respecting beings, as compassionate and loving beings. That's what it's all about. What right have we got to inflict harm upon any other life? We haven't, none whatsoever. And there's so much evidence now with social medias, the newspapers, whatever media channels you follow. It is not a case of why animal rights, it's a case of, why aren't you supporting animal rights? Why are you still consuming dead flesh and secretions? Like I said, the year is 2020. We've moved on. We are not cavemen anymore. Don't make that comparison, because there is no comparison to make. There really isn't. And also, tell me why, if we look at the whole world, every continent, every country, put it all together, 1% of the world's population is vegan. 1%. That's shocking. But then if we exclude places like where the Inuits live, up in the snow-capped tundras, if we exclude a lot of sort of Amazonian and rainforest tribes, they have not got access, to arable lands. They're not wasteful, so there we go. But if you include and put together all of the modernistic societies around the world, that 1% then comes up to 7%. 7% of modern societies are vegan. Therefore, they are ethical and they live a cruelty-free life. 7%. So that means 93 people still consume dead flesh, animals, amputated animal body parts, and they drink the secretions. They're eating the eggs. None of this is good for us. It's a plague and pandemic upon our planet. Animal abuse is the most violent holocaust there has ever been. Let's have a look at slaughterhouse stats from around the world. Now, when I say these, predominantly I'm talking about 4 species: cows, sheep, chickens and pigs. Around the world each second, 5,000 are being killed. That's 300,000 per minute. That's 18 million an hour. That's 432 million every single day. That's 1.5 billion every week. That's 74 billion land animals, the 4 species I've mentioned, slaughtered for human consumption every single year. There's not quite 9 billion people on the planet. Seriously, why aren't we changing massively? Why aren't the governing bodies, the health experts, why aren't they endorsing this? Animals have a right to live their lives. Everyone has a right to live their lives free from oppression, free from cruelty, free from exploitation. Every single aspect of our world is run on animal cruelty. Every single aspect. You get up in the morning, people put the milk from another species into their coffee, onto their breakfasts, and they think that's normal. There is no other species on earth that once weaned drinks milk, especially doesn't drink milk from another species. And we call ourselves civilized? Come on, peoples, enough is enough. Casein on its own, which makes up 87% of the protein in milk, is the biggest carcinogenic ever known to man. Check it out, the facts are out there. How can we have pets and love them, and we wouldn't want any harm to come to those? And I'm looking over there because my dog Pagan's there. Don't know if you can see him just under that tree. Look, there he is. Free from oppression. And that's the thing, you know, a life is a life is a life. A soul is a soul is a soul. And the onus falls on us. We are caretakers and guardians of this planet and everything that is contained within it. We are here to nurture to nature, not to exploit, not to kill, not because we need to, but because we can. Now every single cage and every single tank needs to be empty. Zoos need to be closed. Experimentation on animals, you know, it goes on constantly. You know, from the washing up liquid that you use to the makeup that you wear, from the cigarettes that you smoke, all of these are tested on animals. And what's more, you know, vivisection, a lot of it is pointless anyway. The majority of it, you know, the drug tests, I think it works out about 92% of animals that have had drugs tested on them, once put into a human, those tests are irrelevant. We have got a whole different molecular and DNA structure. Of course it's not going to be the same. We have to end this, we really, really do. Enough is enough. Why are vegans still the minority? That's the question every person with a heart and compassion and kindness and any moral compass should be asking. Why are you still with the pack? We've got a pack mentality going on here. Oh, it's clever to eat meat. I need meat for strength. No, you don't. The strongest man in the world, he's vegan. Some of the ultra endurance marathon runners, the ultra athletes, the world's best Formula 1 driver, Lewis Hamilton, he's vegan. Some of the best tennis players. There is no need for animal abuse anymore. Enough is enough, and it has to stop. And I'll tell you what, and I'm sure I speak for many, many people, while I have breath in my body, you will never stop hearing my voice. Animal cruelty has no place in this world, none whatsoever. The year is 2020, and yet we are still killing, slaughtering and abusing animals permanently, every second of each day, every minute of every hour of each day, and every day of every week and every week of every year. Seriously, the time for change is now. And the reason we're doing this online Animal Rights March, funnily enough, is because of a pandemic. You might not know what the name of it is, but it's COVID-19 or coronavirus. I'm sure you've all been affected by it in some way. And where has this stemmed from? It stemmed directly from our systematic abuse and the way we keep animals. Check it out. SARS, MERS, avian flu, swine flu, HIV, Ebola, they can all be directly linked to how we abuse animals, how we keep them in squalid, confined conditions. It's a hotbed for bacteria. Come on, peoples. It's common sense. But I tell you what, common sense should be called rare sense now, because it sure as hell is not any common anymore. And where is your decency? Where is common decency? Where are your morals? How can you condone the slaughter that is going on? And just because you do not actually slit the throat of an animal, you're not exempt. You're paying the hitman to do it. Plain and simple. You push your trolley along or carry a little basket into the shops and you buy your pre-packaged meats. And they're all made to look very, very pretty. You buy your milk. You buy your processed meats. You go in the butchers. Come on. Processed meats now, you can Google this, check it out. Processed meats are now known to be a class 1 carcinogenic. Cuts of meat are known to be a class 2 carcinogenic. I've already said that casein, which makes up 87% of milk protein, is known to be the biggest carcinogenic ever unleashed upon mankind. But yet people choose to drink it and they feed it to their children. You take your children out for a treat to eat chopped up animal parts in a place they call McDonald's or KFC. These places are vile, absolutely vile. They really are. And enough is enough. To consume chicken wings, you're consuming the arm of an innocent being that did not want to die. And I've been in a slaughterhouse. I know the horrors. And I'll tell you what, any of you can contact me and I'll arrange to take you into a slaughterhouse. And I will show you exactly what happens. And that will sear your soul forever. If you've got one. And the thing is, I do genuinely believe that most people are good-natured. So come on, think about the harm you are inflicting and enforcing upon the planet, upon the animals, upon yourself. It's a knock-on effect. If you were to group all 52 states of the USA together, that would not be a big enough landmass to hold all of the 74 billion farmed animals that are killed each year. Think on that. This is the reason why the Amazonian rainforest have caught fire, because we're encroaching on that to raise more cattle, to kill so people can consume it. If you're worried about the environment, animal agriculture is the biggest culprit of climate change. It's responsible for all of the forests and a lot of the lands being poisoned, for losing our trees, losing our heritage, water acidification, deforestation, soil erosion, antibiotic resistance. It's a knock-on effect. And eating all of these fat and cholesterol filled products, when you look at it, the majority of major illnesses start or originate from the colon. Right, so is that any wonder when you're eating carcinogenic foods? So why animal rights? You know, because it's a case of the strong standing up for the defenceless and the weak. Something that every single self-respecting adult should be doing. It's that plain, it's that simple. Now the dairy industry, let's go into that. 97% of all newborn calves are forcibly removed from their mothers within 72 hours. The majority are removed within 24 hours. A dairy cow, if she wasn't part of the vile dairy industry, she'd live for between 15 to 20 years. But within the dairy industry, artificial insemination happens every year. They are milked 3, often 4 times a day. Their calves are taken away because humans want to drink that milk that is meant for a calf that has now been killed, either killed in this country, turned into veal, or in a live export horror excursion to another country where the same fate awaits it anyway. Enough is enough, peoples. It really, really is. We have to change. We have to start being kind to all kinds. A mass realignment of the human psyche is needed. We are, as a race, the pandemic and the plague upon this world. We are the cancer upon this earth, and we really are all that is wrong, you know, with the world we live in. We're like a parasite. Show me another being that goes round slaughtering other life, not because they need to or have to, but simply because they can. Show me another species that ruins the only home they have got. Now, how can you look into the eyes of your pet, forget that they're a dog or a cat, see them as a living being, a sentient creature that has as much right to life as you or I do? Because regardless of species, there is no different. We all have a right to share this world, and we all have a right to be free from oppression, and we all have a right to go about doing what we do, but putting the least harm and inflicting terror, pain and mass slaughter onto others. This is not how we are supposed to be living. And it really is time to change. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the rest of today, and take care.